You can't take it with you when you're gone, so how do you make the most of it while you are here? It's time for Your Money Matters with Sam and Dieter from Harness Financial.
And Sam and Dieter both in the studio with me. Look, firstly, I do have to ask you, your financial money guys, you get excited about the budget?
I get more excited about spreadsheets, to be honest.
Okay, you're really sick.
Yeah.
You're a really sick person, Dieter.
We are excited about the financial literacy that is coming to schools.
Oh,
And that
okay.
was part of the budget announcement.
Yeah,
really,
it
around
was.
it.
I looked at that and I thought that's a good thing. God, I could have done with that as a kid.
We all could have.
How money works.
Yeah.
Because it's so important in our society and we don't really, I think I did economics, but actually how money works and how a financial life works. So you think that's a good policy?
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
We need to get back to practical education at school.
Yeah.
And what is more practical than money, which makes the world go round, somewhat sadly.
Dieter, it might do you out of a job if everyone could make their own plan. Why would they need you?
Because you don't know what you don't know. So you might need to get the fundamentals, but we all have an internal bias.
Yeah.
And that's normally what trips us up, and habits.
Yeah. By the way, guys, you can ring in, you can text in with your financial questions to the guys throughout this segment. And inevitably, I know these guys will leave the studio, I'll wave them goodbye, and I'll get people ringing up or sending me texts, asking me questions which I am not qualified to answer about financial stuff, and it will be too late. So if you have something you want to know about, you ring or you text me while Sam and Dieter are in the studio with me. Guys, you've got down on the notes today, you want to talk about the Latte Effect.
Yes.
What the hell is the Latte Effect?
So the Latte Effect was a theory popularized by David Batch, and it highlights the insidious nature of those little spending habits and how they accumulate to actually sabotage your financial growth. I know the cost of living is a big issue, but there's part of our spending that we can control, and that is where it drips out the bucket. So what they basically looked at was, if you took all the money you put on lattes or coffees or takeaway coffees, having multiple pay TV subscriptions, pay wave. Every time you pay wave, you're paying a percentage. And you add that all up and you put that into an investment. It starts to add up over time, surprisingly a large amount.
Yeah, I wonder what percentage of the listenership buys a coffee every day, and what percentage of the listenership has more than one subscription to a streaming platform. Because
Can I say I hate you guys? Because I'm sitting here and I hate you. I hate you for
How
the
many do you
internal
have, Sean?
dialogue. And I don't do it enough. It's a work expense for me, the subscriptions, but I don't bother. And I look, and I've got Prime Video, Sky Sport, Netflix. Oh no, Netflix is included in my Xbox subscription.
oh, very good.
Okay, but
You have an
okay.
Xbox.
Now I'm thinking I got Xbox.
What do you play?
I game a few things. Starfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like Starfield. Better Red 2 Redemption. I've clocked that. GTA.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling particularly sort of nihilistic, but I'm now thinking, and I'm sure everyone is. Whoa! I add all that up, and that's a lot of dough, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's take a small sample size of potential cost.
Yeah.
Give me an example, Dieter.
So basically the scenario I've got here is, if you buy a latte for $5 or Americano or flat water, whatever your choice is, for $20 a week, that's $1,040 annually. And when you start to put that into a growth fund and assume 10% per annum average growth over the long term in high growth funds, over 10 years, that's $17,500, 20 years, $65,600, 30 years, $181,000, and 40 years, $468,000. That is what you're spending today, taking out of the future bucket.
And the thing is, if you like coffee, there are other ways to have coffee.
Yep.
Sure, and
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be coffee that you sacrifice.
Yeah.
But something will have to be sacrificed today so that tomorrow can be better.
Yeah. And
What is
not,
it? What are you going to choose? That's the question.
And I'll tell you what, I think the mind plays tricks. And, that's only small. I'm allowed that small indulgence. It means I'm being disciplined. But what you're actually saying with the latte theory is actually those multiple indisciplines can be as bad as one big ill discipline.
Yeah, there's a theory about the fact that people with wealth have spent their money on assets,
Yeah.
and people without wealth, generally speaking, have spent their money on stuff.
Yeah.
So the more money you spend on stuff that doesn't have long-term value, the less you have in the long term.
Okay. Can I ask you guys, do you then say to clients, do you ever say to clients, well, hey guys, maybe you shouldn't be buying coffee?
Yeah, or Lotto.
Lotto is another one.
Oh, really?
$30, $40 a week people spend on Lotto.
Yeah.
And that's
That's more than this.
rather,
Oh, come
rather
on.
have the coffee.
I thought that was an investment.
Yeah.
I might buy a lotto ticket once every 2 months. I might spend $20
Yeah.
in a moment of weakness. But I
That's
hear
a big
what...
difference to every week, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I know people who spend hundreds on lotto a week and part of work things.
But even the PayWave stuff, if you spend a credit card and you tap everywhere you go, they worked out you probably spend about $2,000 a year on fees. So when you tap a card, you're not tapping once, you're tapping twice.
Yeah, and that's something I've become very sensitized to, particularly in dairies and stuff. I now put my card in the machine and do the whole thing because those can be huge, those fees. And it feels like a rip-off where I make it easier for me to buy money at your store and you're charging me for the privilege. Guys, due to my call out now, I've got all these questions for you I want to run through. Oh, this is nice. I have no subscriptions, but I shout myself a breakfast, $33 once a month.
Oh,
That's
Sure. Oh, look, I'll just share this with you because it's interesting feedback. I've recently had to deep dive into all spending whilst applying for a loan. No more PayWave, never have takeaway coffee. All app subscriptions are gone. Sorry, Sean, it all adds up. You're not paying for me, Brenda, you bloody freeloader. I don't not necessarily like where today's session is going, guys. Smoking, I'll tell you one is one I'm working really hard on actually getting rid of the smoking.
yeah.
That is expensive.
If I took my money from smoking and put it into investments, I would,
Yeah.
Be a wealthy man.
yeah, I'd be a wealthy man.
Yeah, I think the average person spends, $100 a week on cigarettes?
Yeah. Someone else says, excited about the news about education on how money works. Would love it if education on how chance works was taught as well.
Chance.
Sean, can you ask them, if you are wanting to sell property and get the best return, is the best approach to negotiate with one party? Or is it better to follow a competitive open process, asking for a counsel? Oh, this is Councillor Sam Jennings. How much do you devalue something you're trying to sell if you have a preferential buyer option?
Well, I mean, if you take the full calculation into account,
Yep.
including, say, the real estate sale fee that
Yep.
you'd normally pay commission to a real estate agent
Yep.
for, and you subtract that off the market value and it lands at what you're being offered at, then you're not really necessarily experiencing a loss.
Yep.
But our view is it's always better to use an expert. And we refer to real estate agents where required.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, the amount of time it takes to market a property well,
Yeah.
to manage a pool of buyers, it takes a lot of time. And the reason why real estate agents get paid what they get paid is because, not all of them, but generally the good ones deserve the commission that they get paid.
Yeah, I think the other thing just to bear in mind is it depends what the market cycle is.
Yeah.
So when it's really hot and everyone's jumping on everything, then
You want to be
you're
open.
going to get a bit of FOMO and people are bidding
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
When it's a dead and quiet market.
If you've got a live one,
Yeah.
stick with them.
Yeah.
That's good advice. Guys, I always get questions about this after you've left, so I'm going to ask it now. Can you ask the boys the difference between a Kiwi Saver account and a wealth account, e.g. BNZ? I have money in a BNZ wealth account from an asset sale, and I'm wondering if it's better in a Kiwi Saver. Is one safer than the others? That's from Kay.
So I think if you remove the labels, what you're dealing with is an account where funds have gone in and they've been invested into various types of investments, being shares and bonds and all sorts of things mixed into it. So it's going to be about the quality of the manager managing that investment. If you then zoom out, the difference of a Kiwi Saver just has certain locks around it. The government says when you can get it and when you can't. And if you do it outside of Kiwi Saver, you can have the same sort of things, if not better, but you can have access, flexibility. You can add when you want, you can withdraw when you want.
Yeah.
So the real question is, what is the purpose, the time horizon, and what is the quality of the underlying manager?
Yeah.
And are you diversified globally, or are you sitting in a concentrated little portfolio with mostly Australia and New Zealand?
All right.
That's right. And get advice around how BNZ compares to Milford, to Booster, to Fisher Funds, to ANZ in their wealth account. And that's something that Dita can help with.
Yeah. Well, look, one question I wanted to ask about this. Do you think, and I've now got it going, and I noticed too, by the way, we were talking about, the tariff thing, and it's back up, my Kiwi Saver account. I just watched it, and that was okay. I got some sleep finally. Is the restriction on moving or spending your Kiwi Saver, do you think it was created in the expectation that you were trying to modify people's bad behaviour and spending their savings and not being committed to saving? And if that was the reason that there are these restrictions on Kiwi Saver, do you get a premium for not being able to move your money? You don't really, do you?
No.
It really is just there to stop you being a dick.
Yes, so they make it really difficult with the hope that you build up enough cash to try and supplement government super one day. But it depends on each person. So when I work with business owners who are really good with money, then you put in $100 a month and you put the rest into voluntary accessible investments. If you've got someone with really bad spending habits, then it might be a good option.
And just to remind us again why a business owner should put in $100 a month.
Just to get the government contribution of $521 a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's right, and which we do. Have you two got latte expenditure? Come on.
We try and make it tax deductible.
No. Oh, it's just there sitting there. Did you bring me a coffee? You didn't, you bastards.
Sorry.
Are you both you walked out with
I've
it?
already had mine.
Oh, you did, yeah.
So you have got the bad latte habit.
Well, Sam bought this.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we probably spend too much money on lattes. However, we also have a coffee machine in the office, which we try and use as much as we can. And we both invest weekly into managed funds.
Ah, okay. All right. So you are walking the talk.
Well, when there's an automatic discipline, then everything else falls into line to some extent.
Yeah. Someone asked me, and it's a weird question, I think, but I'll ask it of you. When is Kiwi Saver taxed?
So the contributions, your employer contribution is taxed at your ESCR rates, ESCT rates. So if you're on a high income, that could be 33, 39%, or whatever the employer puts in. You're taxed within the investment as a pie fund. So you choose your tax rate, whether it's 10.5, 17.5, or 28%. And that it gets applied on the returns, growth, and things within that.
Okay,
investment.
so already taxed.
So every year it gets taxed.
Okay, yeah.
And so you don't have to put in your own tax return, but when you do your tax return, you'll see pie funds and the transactions coming through there.
Okay. PI stands for portfolio.
So whatever's in my Kiwi Saver account now is all mine. When I draw it down and when it become eligible, I'm not going to get whacked by Mr. Inland Revenue again.
No, it's basically just an investment, taxed as an investment with locks and controls on it.
Yeah. Guys, I know we've been general today. I was just thinking, actually, would you, one or two or both of you, be available next Friday for a little harness special if we want to take away the budget just for the person in the street? I think that might be a good idea.
We could work something out, I'm sure.
I'm thinking that would be good because budget smudge it. Have you ever been to a budget lockup?
No, I haven't.
Count yourself bloody lucky. They're boring and the food's terrible. If people want advice on all these things, and I hate you because I'm now just thinking about all the latte expenditure that goes on every day of my life. I'm not going to go and get my cheese scone now after work because you've made me feel guilty.
That's double benefit.
If people want to know about their latte problems, if people want to know about their insurances, about making good investment decisions and making their money matter for them, how do they get hold of you guys?
www.harnessfinancial.co.nz or Google's Harness Financial. And to talk insurance advice, call Sam on 027 3344812. And to talk investments?
Yeah, you can call Dita on 021 0268 7955.
All right, and you off to the cafe now for
We've
a
already
quick
been-
double
we've already
shot?
been
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Oh, well, it looks to me like you're addicts. That's all I'm saying. There we go. That's the boys for another week.
Your Money Matters with Sam and Dieter from Harness Financial. To make the most out of your money, visit harnessfinancial.co.nz.